Merry Meadle. Bit of a random vlog. We're in Mabon. We're in fall, or the autumnal equinox tide here in the southern hemisphere, and yeah, my place is a mess. I've still got heaps to do, as per usual. But wow, I don't know if, my place is chaos and a mess. I don't know if you're picking up something different. I'm going to probably follow this video up, this vlog, this diary, on the weird craft vlog, because it's more specific to that. Did I speak too soon? Hang on. Did I speak too soon? Hang on. No. This is my apothecary. Yes, a mess. I've got things to do in here. I don't know if you've picked up my energy over the past year, especially. They're definitely still there. But I've been extra restless, stressed. Shit happens. We all have stuff that happens, but it all for me got over a tipping point when I had this neighbour move in next door. And you know me, I don't do good or evil. I do nature, anti-nature. But I do believe in, some people can just be so toxic that when they're just near you, if you're extra sensitive on picking things up as well, you're not, you're just in tune to the energy and things around you. I think some people are more tuned in than others. And, anyway, so, hear that? Silence. Literally since this neighbour moved in, so this backstory is, now look, I live in a very feral area. The people here are rough. However, with all the roughness around here, this seems to be like the guy across from me, across my door, is an absolute pain in the ass, okay? But there's kind of some unwritten rules around here. Like, we all shut up at a certain time at night, and every now and again you get some idiot. But, it's not a nightly thing. And we tend to keep to ourselves down here. And, I'm still moving further out, don't get me wrong. But, I mean, to get to that point, I've got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of things to do. And this neighbour that I've had just next door has just been a nightmare. It's just all my energy, everything has just been, I've been on edge pretty much 24/7. And basically, when he first moved in, he's 14 years old. Who has a 14-year-old boy living in a fucking house? You can't imagine what that's going to end up in. But his brother as well, not that much yet older. And literally it just sounded like rolling. I don't know if you've seen the movie Pacific Heights, a renter goes in, Michael Keaton and Melanie Griffiths in it, and they go in, he goes in, and he basically destroys the apartment and dodgy shit, in order to get the properties resold on the cheap and dodgy shit. Anyway, so I thought that was going on at first. I made so many complaints to my real estate going, what the hell's going on? And, and basically it sounded like they were rolling bowling balls through the place. Like, just so loud. Usually when people talk, they don't, we get dickheads around here walking past talking loud, but it's like this kid only knows how to talk like that. And they're swearing at each other, and so there was a certain degree of pain in the ass noise, and like they did not know how to close the car door without slamming it, and it was shuttered through it felt like it shuttered through the whole neighborhood every time they slammed the door. And it just so it wasn't just a noise. I'd get vibrations coming up through my floorboards. I actually had a picture frame in my office, the room over that we just walked out of, fall on my head. It came off the wall and fell on my head. That's how bad and loud the thumping and the vibrations were. And it was non-stop. All night, all day. I'm like, oh, for sakes. And I only had one conversation with this kid because I had enough when it all of a sudden escalated even more. I'm like, oh my gosh, there was more cars. Then there were more dogs. And like something I've experienced over my life, renting. And when you have dogs, say a neighbour moves in, or your neighbour just has dogs and you move in. At first, the dogs might bark a bit because they're like, who the F is this? But after a while, they realise, oh, that's just a neighbour. Like, dogs tend to have a bit of intelligence in that they start to realise, okay, this is a constant person, it's not a stranger, and they tend to settle. Nah, not this dog. Whoop, whoop. And it's a loud baritone, whoop, whoop, non-stop. And the poor thing is literally in a cage where it can't even stretch its head. And it's a bulldog. Then there were 2 bulldogs. And then sometimes I swear it sounded like there were 4 fucking dogs in there. Little yappy dogs and non-stop. And so, at that point I just said, look, to the agent, now seems like there's bloody 6 of them, because I spoke to the kid, the 14-year-old, and I'll get into the energy in a sec. But like in the first conversation I had with him, brings up, I hate birds. I'm like, why are you living in the fucking country? Piss off to the city, And like, so that was the first and the last conversation I had with this kid. Seriously. And like, it's just unsettling. The energy around this kid and his family is just off the charts, unsettling. Did I talk too soon and it's returned? Let me have a look. Where is that? The guys across. No, it's just the guys across the road. But anyway, I'm like, oh. So I rang the agent again. I said, look, there's even bloody more of them now. This is getting beyond the joke. Because the thing that I notice as well, especially if you're in a rough area, if you have someone that just, or energy that moves in that just increases everything, that's really dissettling, and you've already got dissettled things around, everything picks up notches. Everything escalates. And often people don't know how to deal with certain energies that are coming onto them. And sometimes you have no other option than to retaliate or to repay that energy back in order to somehow give sort of a taste back of whatever's being projected to you. So you give it back to wherever it's coming from. So you sort of like return with interest, like you do in tennis. Return someone's, really hard shot so they can feel it, sort of thing, instead of trying to manipulate it. And eventually see who wins out. And the thing about me is I can take a fucking lot. They're more than most people. My training has been life. I've been through things that most people have not. And the thing is, I will break. It will hurt. It will impact me. But I always get up. And I'm usually always the last one standing. Because I can take... I had a digression here, but I had a nickname growing up. A few nicknames. One of them was actually Rocky. I was born on the Rock of Gibraltar, so it's kind of a quib of being from the Rock of Gibraltar, but also because if you ever watch the old Rocky movies, he doesn't matter what he goes, he always gets up, face hanging off, he gets up. That's me. So, and even being brought to the brink of madness, I will bounce back. I will usually, I have never not been the last one standing in any situation, because I can take it, and then I get up. and that can be done on repeat. I'm feeling so much better right now. I just can't, the relief. So anyway, the energy. So everyone, even the dogs. So this is the other thing with energy is everyone's got dogs here, bar me. I've got feathered dogs. I've got ducks. The dogs bark non-stop. All the dogs have started barking non-stop ever since this shit moved in next door. So it's like even the dogs are picking up on it. I don't have anything to do with the people on Wattle Street behind me. They drive me nuts. But at the same time, they do their shit, I do my shit. We sort of keep out each other's way beyond the occasional, hey, you going? That's it, when we're walking past each other. But they've got an old dog, bulldog, and she's been going off her chops at these two dogs here that are in a cage. And the barking of her dog, barking of dogs over on the other side, barking of dogs across the road there, barking of the dogs there, barking of the dogs there, it has been non-stop, whoop, whoop, for nearly a year. Isn't it? Silence. And as uncouth and, the tag or feral some of the people are around here, most of them, bar the ones that probably hide and shut themselves away like they're kind of alright, but this thing's moved in next door and everyone's just gone off chop. It's gone crazy. It's like adding gasoline to, again, you see whether it's me or someone else that, doesn't have the social whatever that I do, doesn't matter. We've both kind of had to do the whole response in we're just going to return back the noise and the thumping and the sound and the music and the dogs without any, because we don't know how else we can deal with it. We can't get the council to get rid of them. We can't get the agents to get rid of them, so you go insane otherwise. So we've all been dealing with this fuck across from me on to the left the best way we have known how. And I just can't believe how calm and quiet. And probably the most distressing thing for me has been my poor ducks have been extra stressed out too and making more noise than what they normally do. And now, today is the first time that I haven't had banging since 5 o'clock in the fucking morning until 1 o'clock at night or 1 in the morning. And they're just so much more calm. I mean, they quack and everything, but their energy's a lot better. Last night, the girls were quacking and carrying on in their bed. They're kind of re-establishing their pecking order at the moment. But they've been doing that extra and noisy for the past 3 days. And the banging that has been coming across from these shits across from me, the neighbours from the past year. Like literally, my ducks will be sleeping and you just feel all the floorboards move. And I think it's just been sending them crazy as well at night when they're trying to sleep with these fucks. They just have no awareness around them, or they don't fucking care. But back to energy, so I grab my stool. So back to the energy, I'm like, oh. So when I called the agent, okay, so this is when all of them were there. So it wasn't just the 2 boys now. Mum, Dad, and Oda knows what else. All in there. And oh my God. Shit. I've never come across it in all my 50 years. I've never come across that. That's just, yeah, you'd want, if you believe in that, you'd want poltergeist in your house rather than what we've had to put up with this. And so the agent said to me, that you're the one, me, making all the noise. I just said to the agent, there's only one of me. There's 6 of them. What the hell are they doing in there? Are they pulling the floorboards apart or something? What? Are they building a campfire in the front room? Like, what is going on? And he's like, oh, well, they say it's you. And I just think the agent was saying that just to blow me off, or maybe they were saying that, and I probably think they were, because I had the impression they were trying to drive me out of this place because they wanted to get it for themselves. Because there's 6 of them in there, you know what I mean? And they're seeing me on my own big place. They're thinking, oh, let's drive this tenant out, a bit like that Pacific Heights movie, so then we can get it too, because there's a shortage of places to live here, you know. And so that's, in my gut, that's my very first impression, trying to drive me out of here. Being as obnoxious and loud, and in their conversations with each other, it wasn't like normal people talking. It was literally like, F you, and if you don't do this, I'm going to F you up. And that's how they spoke to each other on a daily basis. It's the swearing, and it was just like, oh my God. And the 14-year-old, I know boys can have their voice break, but he literally always sounded like someone was squeezing his nuts. And it just carried. And I was like, oh my, this is too much. So I'm like, oh great. So my agents are going to help me. Too bad, too sad sort of thing. So I've just had to cope with it. So what I've been doing is I just put my speakers up really loud as I work behind my desk. And past 3 days has been extra shit with the banging, because I think they might be moving out. There's still some shit there. I don't think they've fully moved out yet. Maybe they're in between places. The sign's gone up to sell the place. They didn't buy it, they're just renting. The people who own it are the same people that own this place. So I don't know. Hopefully we don't get the same shit, you know what I mean? But, it's so much better. So back to energy, the very first conversation I had with the dad, I shit you not, within half an hour he's telling me his son's gay, and his daughter is marrying a PO. I don't think you can upload that, say that word on YouTube for some ridiculous reason, but someone who, you know, does things with children that they shouldn't, that his daughter's marrying one. And I'm like, what the, who discloses that sort of shit in the very first conversation they have with someone? Especially when you're trying to you'd want to be sort of making an impression because you've been an absolute pain in the fucking ass, excuse my French, with all the banging and everything. I'm like, oh God. And then the other thing that I picked up, so I did some defense work, and in that lying, so picking up things in the room, but also evaluating people when they're lying and shit like that. And I just got red flags left, right and centre with bullshit. Telling me that he was in the army, but then he got kicked out. Well, one, it's like, how can you be with the army, in the army, when you sound like a fucking elephant when you walk? Like, and it's not just me that feels it. I had the old lady across the road, okay, directly across the road. She can hear the banging in her floorboards coming from this lot. And not from music traveling, just from walking and that sort of thing. I'm thinking, how the fuck could you ever be in the army? You sound like a freaking elephant when you walk. Bullshit. And then secondly, if you were and you were kicked out, what the hell were you kicked out for? Bullshit all along. And anyway, apparently he also mentioned they all moved because their house burnt down in Tasmania. And I'm thinking, you sure? My first inner dialogue thought was, are you sure you didn't fucking burn it down on purpose for insurance to get out and go somewhere else? Because they smoke as well. And I hate the smell of smoke coming over. I don't smoke. You want to smoke, go for it. But why should other people have to smell your stench? You know, I try and be healthy. You want to fuck yourself up? Go fuck yourself up. But don't don't put it on other people. And then I've got animals as well. And I actually do think that's why Merlin died. He got a respiratory infection, my rooster Merle. And it was winter and cold. And I think it's because of the fuckers would be out the back there smoking. And the run where the chooks is closer. And the thing with the silky roosters or silky chickens in general, they have a much smaller capacity. Well, their respiratory capacity is a lot lesser than the other chickens due to their structure, their anatomy. Their breathing is a lot more limited, and I think that's actually what killed him, made him sick. Fucking pieces of shit. Anyway, so for me, I just think they deliberately burnt their place. There's just something so not evil, just vibrates so disharmoniously, like that. All harmonies, energies have a rhythm about them, whereas the energy or the harmony of the energy that comes from this family is just destructive all across the board. You know, again, not evil, just complete destructive. And I think sometimes you can become a facilitator of that sort of vibration just by being a dishonest or dishonorable lowlife or piece of shit from the choices you make, not because of your situation. It doesn't matter if you come from a good situation or a bad situation. We're all capable of vibrating in a way like that. It's just that just everything around you becomes out of tune and disharmonious, or that it amplifies any disharmony that's around. You know what I mean? Feeds off it like a bushfire. So I'm like, after that short conversation, I'm like, okay, I'm not talking to you again, mate. Your son, cross. You, cross off the list. Oh, a few weeks later, first conversation with a mother. Oh, I like your ducks. Oh, thank you. They're so cute. I love people who love ducks because the other thing too is I like the thought of them getting some good energy just from seeing these cute little things. And yeah, ducks are funny to watch. Okay, they're quite hilarious sometimes. But then she goes straight into, oh, my foot. I'm like, what's wrong? She goes, oh, I've got a disability. Yeah, I know how it feels. I'm disabled permanently myself. You know what I mean? Like, but there's a difference between when you have an ailment or something's up and you're like, oh, fuck, you know, my whatever. But you're not expecting a sympathy or you know, interplay from the audience that you're saying it to. Like, for me personally, I'm permanently disabled and I hate that. Like, I don't want that. If I say it is to try and explain, you know, where and how and why I'm in a position I am, but it's not something I'm sitting on. I'm always working on. You know what I mean? Even though it's permanent, I'm always trying to, as if it's not permanent anyway, sort of thing anyway. But, you know, I'm not doing it for a sympathy ploy or to extract energy. I'm really sensitive to people who try and extract energy from you. I am to the point of rude and obnoxious as soon as I pick up on that, because I will not play. My mother was like that. So, she gave me good training of everything I didn't want to put up with and be as an adult or in my adult life growing up. So I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, yeah. She was talking about her foot. Meanwhile, both my Achilles, I've got permanent tendinitis on both because of what happened to me in 212. So hip recon, missing bits, neck was broken, you know, like I had to learn and walk and talk again. So it was so weird. You could literally see in her head, oh, I'm not going to get any energy or extraction or sympathy from this avenue. She literally, as soon as I saw that in her eyes, in her face, she then switched 360. Oh, my daughter's marrying a man who, the P word, basically people who do things to children that they shouldn't be doing. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with this family? And I literally said to her, if my child was stupid enough to marry something like that, I'll disown my child. She just looked at me And then she goes, oh, I don't like people who think they're better than everyone else. She was trying to do a passive aggressive. I'm like, yeah, I got to go. See you later. Bye. Got out of there. I'm like, fucking hell. Wow, what a family. They're all highly dysfunctional. I am surprised there's any function that can happen there. So anyway, so this is what I've been going on with. I've got the idiot across the road who's literally, lazy boy at the front watching me perving and making noise non-stop. But then I had this as well. I mean, at least with that, I can go in my backyard, have some solace work in the garden, that sort of thing. But then when I got this as well, I couldn't even go at my back. So I couldn't go at the front. And then every time I go at the back, it's with hesitation and angst and anxiety, just waiting for the banging. And as soon as I walk out, so too, outside as well, one of them will go in the back. As soon as they hear I've gone out the back, they'll come out too and start making noise. Like they want to force themselves on me. Like they want my attention. They want, and I'm like, no, F off. I'm too busy. And if I was going to, I would not with the likes of any of you. You're all not nuts. You're just wrong. That's the best way I can put it, wrong. So, we're in fall, Mabon. And then the next season coming up is Samhain. So the beginning of the new year, winter's tide here in the southern hemisphere. And that will be when the northern hemisphere goes into the summer tide. Beginning of summertime. So yeah, a lot. Around that time, people think a lot about spirits and the dead, but I tell you now, there's nothing more potent and destabilizing than that sort of fucking energy that's coming from the living. So, I don't know if ever any of you had that sort of experience. I mean, I do hold comments because I'm just not going to deal with the idiots that are on the net. I'm not saying everyone on the net's idiots, but there are. So I'm just not going to deal with it. I don't have time. I have struggled with my own time but if it's just a normal comment, or something to add or whatever, and, even if it's something I don't really agree with, sometimes I will still approve it. So if you have any experiences with that sort of thing, go ahead, put it in the comments and I'll approve it so, people can see this experience. But, wow. It's literally like I can hear the vibrations of the earth or the ground again, all of a sudden, after not being able to hear it for nearly a year. That's how dissettling. And I had a ringing in my ear too. And shit, the old lady across the road, so my ears started ringing 4 weeks ago and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, fucking hell. Yeah, same. That's how... So they've still got some shit there. They're obviously picking up some last bits. But soon they'll be gone and I'll be able to do more recordings in my backyard again and get on top of the gardening there, which is great. But, sorry guys if my energy's been all over the place, but that's what I've been dealing with. And I'm going to be doing a major cleanse and recharging of everything when they're gone. And a little bit of a party in my soul, can tell you that. But anyway, blessed be Mary Part. Thank you for listening to my diary and ramble. But wow, the energetic, the disharmony of energy that is all over the shop, moving into your cul-de-sac or neighborhood, even if you're in a rough area, is enough to make the place a living hell. If you believe in hell, if I imagine I don't do Bible stuff, but if I could imagine what a Bible hell would be, that's it. Oh, days. Leave comments if you've had any experience like that. Sure, other people will enjoy reading it. They're not alone. That, it's a definite to the, I would say, paranormal, because it's an energy, you know what I mean? It's not really something you can touch. You can't feel it, you can't hear it sometimes, but there's another layer to that, which is vibrational. You just feel it on so many levels, spirit-wise as well. And your animals pick up on it. All the dogs in the neighbourhood have been picking up on it. So hopefully we get some peace now